we about to start doing the electrical part of it. Right? What I said, every 16, right? So I know it's a stud here because we found it earlier. I know it's a stud here because we found it earlier. So that's a great thing in this situation, right? Both of our studs is on the outside. So that means we can work up in between these two cavities. There's a stud here, or if you want to call it a beam, there's a beam here, beam here. So that means we got a free cavity here, but not necessarily, right? It could be a fire stud. Studs usually run this way in the wall, like this. But sometimes in certain cavities, you got one that come across, which is called a fire stud. So right now, what I'm about to do, I'm about to take this cable plate off first, right? Run my rod up, see how much space I got up there. Get that going on. Bam. So now, I'm gonna take my rod up. It's that cable line. This house is brand new, so the cable line hasn't even been hooked up yet. Right, and look, here go that stud I was talking about. If you come a little closer, see that? Yeah, it's a stud. See, so it's a stud here. So I know it's a stud on the other side, right? So now I'm gonna take my rod before I start making any holes. I wanna take the rod up and see if it's free and clear. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see if it's what? Free and clear. So I'm gonna run this up. Yeah. Ooh, she's free and she clear, right? So I know we good. This whole cavity free and clear. Even when I'm running my electric up, it's gonna be free and clear, right? While I run my electric, open this up here. I can take this plate off first. I'm gonna use my tester to make sure the electricity is done correctly before I touch it. So the cool thing about this tester right here, you can buy this from Harbor Freight or you can buy it from Home Depot. You can buy this part without this part. This is if you go into the circuit breaker box. This is for you to find this. I got another video about that you can watch that gives it to you more detail. It's the one of how to replace your receptacle, your outlet. To show you how to use this tool, right? So here, all this tool does here, take these screws off, bam, pop that plate down in. Where you going? So that's it, right? This here gives you all the directions for the light, the sequence of the lights, right? So if the two lights on this side is on, it's correct. That's the only thing we're worrying about. You can read this later on in detail if you go purchase one. I plug this in, electricity correct. If it's correct up here, usually it's correct down here because they're all on the same circuit. Right, that's correct, so we good. Now, you must turn the power off. I'm doing this live because I know how to do it, and I've been doing this for years. But you must go turn your power off. Go to your circuit breaker box. You can have somebody, if your circuit breaker box is not labeled, you can have someone tell you when this light is off. You can send somebody to the circuit breaker box and tell them to keep cutting the switches off until you see these lights go off and you know it's off, right? Or if you got this tool, you can go down there and find the circuit breaker, cut it off, and then come back to the room and see if it's off. If it's not off, you go find the next one. Because sometimes these might give you off a little read because they might be close to each other. So it might give you a false read. So once this is completely off, that means your power is off, right? Then you can start working it. Like I said, in this situation, I'm not going to cut the power off. Cut this off. It's annoying. I'm going to pull this outlet out so we can work with it. Right here. Okay. So we're gonna run our electrical wire down. Since this cavity is opening, right? It's gonna make it so much easier for us to work with because this cavity is open here. So I'm just gonna pop this out right here. See, so if you look inside the outlet, right, it got like different slots inside. So I'm gonna pop this out right here at the bottom. Boom. That way I can run my Romex here. So if you come a little closer right here, you see I just popped that out, that lip right here. I popped that lip out right there. See, so I can run my wire down. I'm gonna grab it from this box over here since it's open. But in certain situations, you might have to run it up, but it's wires coming out of there. So you might have to use a fish rod. You'll send your fish rod up through one of the holes and catch your fish rod up at the top and pull it through. So this fish rod, you wouldn't use it. This a rod. You'll use something called fish tape, I should say, my bad. In this situation, we're using fish rod because we got an open slot here from the low voltage. So this is all low voltage over here, and this happened to just be a wide open box that I could put my hand through. So I'm gonna grab this electrical wire from over here. Oh, here we go, here. Right? So I'm gonna run this down here and try to catch it over here. So I'll put it at an angle. This would be much easier if you use some fish tape. I don't have my fish tape on me right there. So now I'm trying to fish actual wire, which is a lot harder than fishing the fish tape. Move this out the way a little bit. Get this some room. So, good thing my hand was able to fit through here a little bit. Usually my hands are too big. I had a little bit more space in this one. Early one I did earlier. See, look, so look. I was able to run that wire down there, right? Do that slot and pull it out. So I went and grabbed it with my hand, and now I'm fishing it through, feeding it. Right, until I come up to where I want my outlet at. Right, I'm gonna put my outlet probably about like right here somewhere. I haven't got to go that high with the outlet, but yeah, I'm gonna put it about right there. It's more than enough space. So I'm gonna put it there. Yep, matter of fact, yeah, I'll put it there. Yep. See where that TV gonna end up at again. TV is 48. You just double check. You always want to measure twice. Don't assume that you're correct, because you might be off. You know, sometimes you get a little tired, might forget. So it's always good to check twice. So it's 24. The middle of the wall is 24, 1/8. So my TV gonna end up right here. So my TV gonna end up here. So I got all this room to play with. So I'm gonna put an outlet here. And I gotta make sure there's no stud over here. So it's another stud here. So I gotta keep my outlet within inside here. Right? So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna actually put this up here because I don't wanna play with it because the stud is right there, right? So I'm gonna put the outlet over here and I'm gonna put my cable over here too. So I'm gonna get a little bit more wire through. That's more than enough, right? So let's start real quick. So then we got our electrical wire in here. Got as much as we need. We're gonna take our blue box out, right? We're gonna draw a line. We need 2 of them, right? We need 1 for the cable, 1 for the power. All right, so we gotta stay in between the 2 studs. So we know that stud is over here somewhere, right? Stud is over here somewhere. So we're gonna put 1 box here. And then we're gonna put the other box right over here. So you don't want to put them too close to each other, right? Because you put them too close, you see that space right there? On that side, you can see that from here? If you put them too close, when you cut one side and then try to go cut the other side, it's a break. So you want to kind of put the box over a lot, you know what I'm saying? So that way you can have it. If you put it like another box apart from each other, you're usually good. You don't have to worry about nothing. So if I start this box over here, I'm good. So I line that up right there. Boom, draw another line. Yeah. All right. Put that there. This ain't got to be perfect because these boxes, you can adjust them in the wall. The hole always going to be bigger than the box. The hole's going to be slightly bigger than the box, so you can always adjust it. So I'm going to put this here so I can catch the dust. sheetrock knife at? Using sheetrock knife. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my sheetrock knife and cut this way. Only why I'm gonna cut this way so I can see, like, just in case, like, say if the stud just happened to be right here, that means I might have to move the box over. So let me just start cutting this way, going towards where that stud is. Make sure we clear. All right, we clear. All right, so now I'm gonna come here. Sometimes it rips like that. You see how it rips a little bit slightly, but it's gonna be covered up with the plate. So you don't have to worry about it. And you don't gotta take the sheetrock knife and go so deep in the wall because you never know what's back there. So just take your time. Don't try to take the whole knife and go all the way in the wall. Just take your time. You see what I'm saying? I'm working in front of the knife, only about this part of the knife right now. I don't know what's back there. I don't want to stab something. Maybe some wire back there, I don't know. Right, so I don't want to assume because I can't see. I'm working blind. Right, so you take your time. Right. Do the same thing. Only thing I'm doing is tracing this line on the outside. Sometimes these fall in the wall, they ain't gonna kill nothing, they ain't gonna hurt nothing. See, if you look up here, look, that's that stud. And that's that cable line that we're gonna use later. It's the cable line right here. See, look. If I pull on it, you're gonna see it start to move. See, it's the cable line that we need to use. So right now it's like nailed down. Sometimes you go pull it, feel like it ain't gonna move. If you pull it towards the stud and pull up, it'll be hard to move, but you can still move it. Right, or you can just tap into it at the bottom. But in this situation, I'm just gonna pull it up. All right, I'm gonna cut as much as I need. I don't need much of it. And the rest of it, I'm gonna use it for myself, for behind the TV. So I'm gonna cut about this much. Later on, they wanna move it down, all they gotta do, connect another wire, drop it down, put that to the side, right? This is for my cable. Now this is gonna be for my power. Now I could do either or. I could switch this over and put this over here for the power. I mean for the cable and put this hole for the power, which I'll probably do because you kind of want to be able to access the power a little bit better. So I might put the power closer to the end of the TV and put the cable right here. So that's what I'll probably do most likely. That's what I usually like to do. Power outside, cable inside. I feel like that works a lot better. So right now I can go back here and feel before I push this knife all the way through. I know it ain't nothing here, so now I got to put my knife back in here first. Cut a little bit. All right. No, there ain't nothing here. Check. Cut a little faster and hard. Man, taking my time still, staying straight and even as possible. Alright, see how I said sometimes it fall down, which it just did. So now what I'm gonna do here, like I told you, I'm gonna move my cable over here. And earlier when I was telling you when you put the two boxes next to each other, this is the part I was telling you don't want to make it too skinny. See if I put the other box right here, that'll be skinny. I start cutting this and this will pop and break. Now you got a big hole in between your two boxes. It's hard to fix. You gotta put a piece of wood there, then a piece of sheet right there, screw it, putty it up, nightmare, mess. You can fix it, but it's gonna just slow you up, right? So to avoid that, that's what I'm telling you. So now, I'm gonna run my electric wire straight up here. I'm gonna attach it to this rod. So I'm gonna send this rod up. That's the rod right here, right? Set the rod up. You can buy this rod from Home Depot, or this one right here is from Harbor Freight. The little skinny ones, Home Depot sell the real heavy duty orange ones. I got that as well. That's more so for like a different type of job. I wouldn't recommend it for this. That's more so for like drop cylinders. When you run like Cat 6 or you run the wires up there where you need to be really strong. A real strong rod. In this situation, the rod don't have to be that strong. So all I'm doing right now is grabbing some black electrical tape, taping this wire here. See, I'm holding it with my thumb, I'm taking the tape, putting my finger on the back side of it so I can pull on it and whip it around. Pulling it, whipping it around so I can get it nice and tight. I'm pulling, whipping it around. You see how I finish off the end, right? So nothing can get snugged on it. Now I'm gonna come down here to the bottom part and do the same thing. So I don't want nothing here to get caught, so I'm gonna go all the way to the end of it. And then I'll pull it, bend this back, and leave a little lip so it could be easier for me to take off when I get to the top. So I'm gonna take this out, pull that up. Alright, so we got our wire up here. That's that little lip I was telling you to leave. So when you hooking up the electrical, right, it's not like cable where you can just tap into it first. Electrical, you got to do the top wire first, especially if it's hot. If it's not live, right, like I told you, I'm working with a live, right? But if I wasn't working with a live, it don't matter which order I do it in. But since I'm working with it live, I got to do it in a different order, right? Pour some of this wire down. Got too much wire. Alright, cool. Wire is expensive, so I don't want to leave too much extra wire, I think. Right? So now I'm gonna take my razor, right? And you see that little line right here? I'm gonna take my razor and go down because in between here is just copper wire. You'll see it if I start opening it up, right? So I ain't gotta worry about it hurting or damaging anything. I'm gonna go right down, right on where the copper at, right? Boom. See? When I peel that back, it's just copper and brown paper. All right? So cut that off. Make sure your razor is not dull. Right? That's done. Now we're gonna take this 1 gang electrical box. You always want to put electrical box. Sometimes they come in gray too. They may come in black as well. I've seen a few people with black, but the places I buy from, they come in blue and gray. You take that here, right? Put your electrical wire in here, but when you put it in here, make sure you bring your finger through and start bending the wire towards you so you can push it out. And then you want to take this wire and catch it in that lip in the ear right here, right? So you want to catch it right on here. So that's why you push it up in here so it can be caught. See how it get caught on there? Now it won't come back out. All right? You ain't gotta have that much in here, so I'm gonna take some of it out. Cause it don't have to be that much. I'm gonna show you how much you need in there. Overdid it a little bit. Really don't need too much. Pour some back in. All right? All right, cool. That's good right there. All right, so that's good, right? Push it out a little bit. Maybe work a little bit more. All right, that's good. So that's it right there. Right now, push the wire back in the wall. Right? Now, on this blue box, it got 2 little lips. When you start the screwing, this top lip pop up and catch the back of this wall right here. When you start screwing this one, this bottom one flips out and catch the bottom of this wall. So it catches the wall like this, right? Like this. Catch the wall like this, keeping it locked into the wall. All right, so I'm gonna push these in there. When you push them in there, make sure you push the screws in. Make sure the lips are in the right position. The top one you gotta worry about as long as it's laying flat. The bottom one here, right? You take your screw gun, let your screw gun do the work. Yeah. Let's lock that in. Like I told you, see how you got extra room too? If I needed to move my box over a little bit. Remember that extra room I was telling you about? Look, see I can slide it over that way a little bit, slide it that way a little bit, got a little room. So wiggle room. Not much, but enough, right? So now we're gonna go get our receptacle real quick. I'm gonna come over here and grab a receptacle out the bag. So we got our receptacle, right? So there's 2 ways you can hook this wires up, right? So you want to go to 14 because it's a 14 gauge wire. White wires or 14 gauge. Yellow wire is a 12 gauge. So it's a 14 gauge wire, right? So I'm gonna clip it. So I usually tell people to clip it a thumbnail, the size of your thumbnail, right? So if I came here, I could slide down like, okay, that's about right there, right? That's if you're gonna bend the wire over and put it on a screw, right? So if you got white, that's called neutral. Neutral always go on the side of the ground. The ground wire is this wire here. It's a ground wire, it's copper, right? Sometimes it come in with a green coating on it, like this has the white coating, sometimes got a green coating on it. That's always gonna be the copper, and that's considered the ground wire. That's gonna go on the ground screw. So when I say bend it over, you can do this, right? You take it and you bend it over like this, and then it hooks on here like this, right? And then you bend it over, boom, you squeeze it, right? So if I did a fingernail, I could do that, right? Or I could do a half a fingernail at 14, right? Just a half a fingernail, right? And I can plug this into the back. So remember, I said white is neutral. So white is the silver, which is always on the side of the ground. And I can plug into the back. So all white wires, which is neutral, will go on this side. So I can plug it into back here, right? Or I could have stripped it like this. I'll show you with this wire, right? With a fingernail grip. With a fingernail length, right? I could strip it here, and I could bend this over like that. If I bend it over like that, right? Then I could whip it around. You always want the wire to be tucked down like this. You want it to come this way. You see how I got the hook coming this way? See how the outlet is? I don't want the hook going up this way. See, I don't want it going that way. I want it coming down. The same way the outlet gonna be in the wall, right? And I could go around here like that, right? And I could squeeze that on. Right, so that's another way I could do it, or I could plug it into the back. So if I want to do it like this, I could do it like that, right? So it's either you can do it that way, or you can do it that way. A lot of people like to do it this way, like you see that these guys did here, look. Who are the builders of this house, they did it this way. This way is a lot faster, it's quicker. When you're doing a bunch of outlets, you ain't got time to sit there and turn each one and bend it. So they'll just plug it in the back and make their job a lot faster. So the same thing here, right? Just the ground wire. Remember I said we want the loop down. See how the outlet is? We're gonna hook right there. It's always good kind of hook them and loop them on because it's always gonna be safer, right? Because it ain't gonna never pop out. It ain't nothing gonna catch on fire if it pop out, but then you have to come back to fix it or whatever. They usually don't come out, but sometimes it's possible, right? But if you hook it and bend it, it'll never come out. So if you plug it in back here, you gotta give it a nice tug to make sure it's in here good. But if you hook it on here like this, you'll never have to worry about it. But when you plug it in the back, make sure you give it a good tug and make sure it's good, right? So I tighten that screw down. On the neutral side, I don't have to tighten anything down because I plugged on the back. Only thing I got to tighten down is the ground wire, right? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take these wires, I'm going to do it into like an S shape. I'm going to bend this part down first, and then I'm going to bend up on it like this, and I'm going to push the wire in the wall like this. All right. So you see I didn't plug up the bottom part yet. So as in right now, this line is not live. It won't become live until I plug up the bottom. So right now, it's still dead. All right. So these also got little slots, like you can slide this over. So say if your outlet like it's a little uneven, you got wiggle room to slide it this way, slide it left or whatever. You can make any adjustments you need. So now we got our outlet adjusted the way we want it. Put the screw in here. So now we got the outlet at the top right there. All right. So right now, like I said, we ain't got no power up there. See? No power. But once I connect it down here, we'll have power. So that's what I'm about to do now. I'm gonna connect it down here. So right now, I don't need all this wire here. I just want to have about the same length that they got already in the box. So my wires don't be jumbled up all in the way. So I'm going to cut that about right there. And I'm going to shrink this here. So remember earlier I said you take your razor, you go down the center of the wire. Because that's where the copper part at. I'm going to go right down the middle. All right. Pull all this back. And then we're gonna rip this out. All right. So this is your ground wire, right? The ground wire There's no extra place to plug it up, and there's only one place to plug the ground wire up in, right? On the outlet is here. Here, on the back of the outlet, you got multiple places you can plug a neutral and a ground wire. I mean, a neutral and a hot wire. The hot wire is this black wire right here. Neutral is the white wire, right? So right here, they already use all the plugs in the back. So that means I can't use them in the back no more. It's only 4. It's 2 for the neutral, 2 for the hot. The hot is the black, the neutral is the white. And then you got 2 on the side. So you got a total of 4 for each one, right? So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna hook up my ground wire, because the ground wire only can be married with the ground wires. I can't hook this to that screw. So I'm gonna unloosen this, right? Because you never wanna double up on the screw. So I'll show you on another video, if all these was taken, I would have to take one off and I had to make a tail. So I would have to take that off of here, right? Add another wire to it, it's called a tail. Tie it together and then create 2 wires off of that, like that, right? So right here, I want to cut this and make that almost the same length as that so it won't be all sloppy, right? Cut that, bam. What we're going to do, untwist these so I can twist mine up with it. They got special pliers for this, it make it much easier. They're in my other tool bag. So I'm using needle noses, but if you use the correct tool, the correct pliers for this, it'll make it easier to twist these wires together. So right now I'm using this like this. So once I marry all these wires together, I'm gonna clip it, make it even, right? So this can go on here. This right here is called a wire nut. So you want the wire nut to go on here nice and good. Squeeze that on here. Now my ground, that's done. I can push that back up. You want to take the ground, push that all the way back there. Deep back there, right? You can bend the ground up as much as you want to get that out the way. So don't come forward and touch any of this stuff that's open. Right, so now I know I gotta put it on the outside screws because I said the back of it is all closed up. So I'm gonna do it like a fingernail, about that much. Slide down so I can have enough room to wrap it around. Remember, this is 14 wires, so you put it in 14, you push down, slide it off. Same thing, look for 14, push down, slide it off. You're gonna take the tip, bend it over, take the tip, bend it over. Remember, I told you these wires are live, but you will cut them off. So in this situation, look, you see how the outlet is here? I'm gonna push down, go here, right here with it. You see, I wanna go this way with it. I wanna take it and put the loop up. I want the loop going down because that's the way the outlet gonna be in the wall. Take my needle noses. You can never get shocked if you even touch this, right? It might pop or whatever, but you see it got rubber here, right? So you ain't gonna get shocked. If you touching the metal and something go wrong, you're gonna get shot, but it ain't gonna kill you. There ain't enough juice coming through it. It might cause some serious injury, I should say, right? Because that's what they say. But from my experiences, when that happened to me, nothing ever happened crazy. But you should always cut the power off when working with it. Never work with the power on. Right? So now I'm gonna go on this side. As long as I can touch this neutral side all day by itself, right? There ain't nothing gonna happen. I can touch this side by itself too, right? Nothing gonna happen. It's if when I touch a neutral and a hot at the same time. If I touch both of these together, then I'm gonna feel that juice, right? So, but you don't do that. I'm just giving an example. See, you see that juice in there? You hear? She making noises. So you go right there on that, boom. Got that side. Did I put that side on? Yep, I got that side on. Right? Now I'm just gonna lock that down. Squeeze it. See? That squeeze. Now look at the top. We should have some juice up there. See, look. We got juice up in there. So now I want to push all my wires back in nice and neat. So what I like to do is what they should do anywhere. Just take these screws out right here for right now. When it's like a lot of wires and stuff, or whatever. Or you just want to just be extra cautious. What you could do is this. I'm gonna show you. Take the screw out, and all you gotta do, take some black tape and go around it. So now when you push your wires and stuff in, you ain't gotta worry about it hitting nothing coming back forward, touching it. Take your black tape and just wrap it. Save yourself a headache. I wrap it real good. I go all the way to the back. I wrap my work and they work. All right. Now I can grab it on both sides, ain't nothing gonna happen. But I wouldn't recommend doing that neither, because if you ain't tape it good, then what's gonna happen? You're gonna feel a little juice. So don't do that. I'll just give an example. That example for you to try or follow at home. Do not try this at home. Cut your power off or get a professional. I'm just showing you how it was done. So now I'm gonna put our screws back in. Wound up. I'm gonna have to loosen this up. So sometimes you gotta loosen these up a little bit. You can't tighten them all the way down because it ain't gonna sit flat the way you want it to sit. You gotta kind of play with it. All right, cool. These little screws be hard to find. All right, let's put that one up here for you, man. So right now I'm looking for the other screw, but I think I'm gonna skip that. If I can't find it, and get it back to it. I found it. So I'm gonna move upstairs to the cable line. Close this back up. So now this is like a decoy. That's what my client called it the other day. I usually call it, today. But that sounds better. It's like a decoy. I usually call it just a false, a blank plate. But it's a decoy. So it's just to give you that same look down here. But this one will no longer work. This will still work. Because you jumping power off the power. The cable ain't going to work unless you use like a, say if you needed this to work for whatever reason. If you wanted to have the cable box behind the TV and a modem down here, you would do something called a two-way splitter. So that main line up there, I'll put a two-way splitter on the end of that line. So a two-way splitter will be here, and there'll be a line feeding this one, then a line coming back down feeding this one. If I needed both of them to work. But in this case, I don't need both of them to work. You usually don't need both of them to work at the same time. So now, we're going to the top. And we're gonna put a fitting on here. All right, this is called RG6. This is cable wire. So you got something like this. It's called a stripper. Bring it here. You can spin it, push it down. Right, you stripping this off. It pop one whole piece off, and then it rips this off a little bit like that, so you can get to the braids, right? Then you want to take the braids and push it back. You might have to practice a few times. Just get some wire and just keep practicing it. So you pushing this braid down to the side evenly, because it's going to act like a lube. When you're sliding that metal part down, this is going to help it slide right up underneath that skin. So I'm going to go get a fit and show you how that goes. So this here is your fitting right here. That's the little tube that's inside there that this is gonna slide up on it. And this your crimping tool. So this is gonna start off with this much space, and when I crimp it down, this space here gonna close up, right? So I'm gonna slide this on here. When I'm sliding this on here, you don't want to just push it in, right? Because it's a piece of carpet that's gonna slide about it, and it could poke your hand. So when I usually do it, my hand is open like this. So when I push it, it don't stab me, see? So if you see it, look, it's gonna start to come out. But I got my hand open in a way where it won't poke me. See, it came out. But I put my hand in a way where it don't poke me. See, I want to even it out with the inside here, right? The conductor, I want it to come down. Right, so now we got that in there. So all I'm gonna do now is put this crimping tool on here. Goes just like this. This go inside here. The carpet go inside this little hole. This gonna slide inside there. Once I press this, this is gonna close up, compressing that. When I squeeze that, it compresses. All right, so that's it. Now I'm just gonna put something called a low voltage bracket inside there. And our cable push. So this here is a low voltage bracket, right? You put this here. You never use this for electricity. This is only for low voltage. Low voltage is RG6, Cat 5, Cat 6, HDMI cord, stuff like that, all right? It's low voltage, not electricity. This actually works the same way. It got the little lips that's like the blue box. So these little lips slide down, catch the back of the wall. The top one slides up and catch the top of the wall, right? Now, once that's in here, this little bracket's locked in here, which allows me to screw this plate to it. This is a RG6 plate, cable plate. So I'm gonna screw this cable plate up here, like this. Push this inside the wall. Now I'm gonna take my screws, line one up real quick. Get that one started. Find the bottom one. Line her up. And I screw it in. Yeah. And there you have it. This is a wireless installation. Power cable up at the top. This still works. I can show you that. Still work. Still work. Works. You got your cable on here. This right here is just a decoy now. Then we're gonna put the TV on the wall. We're gonna hook the cable line up to this. So I'm gonna make a cable line. This extra wire that I'm gonna stick behind the TV for when the cable come hook up the cable box is already there for them. They'll have to get behind the TV or take the TV off the